Hi, can you guess what percentage of large IT projects cost more than expected in the beginning of the project? Is it 30, 50 or 70%? According to the research done by McKinsey and the University of Oxford, 71% of large IT projects overrun their initial budget. And even worse, in average, they deliver 56% less value than expected. Ironically, the reasons why large IT projects fail are repeatedly similar, and they're usually the mix of technology, business decisions, not only poor project management. Therefore, in this video, we will look into 5 reasons why IT projects fail, how to avoid them based on Obamacare project. Isn't it ironic that the United States is the largest #1 economy in the whole world, a country where you can find the most advanced tech and medical care available? If sick people in poor countries die because they don't have access to medical care, in the United States, sick people die because they can't afford it. In order to fix this problem, in March 2010, Obama signed the Affordable Care Act, a legislation which is called Obamacare. The idea was to create a marketplace very similar to Amazon, where Americans would go on a website, compare the prices for healthcare plans, check if they qualify for government support, and enroll into a chosen healthcare plan. So the project started in 2010 with a hard deadline to deliver it on October 2013. So as planned originally, on October 1st, 2013, healthcare.gov was officially launched. Unfortunately, even though the project was delivered on time, it was a huge disaster. 250,000 users went on healthcare.gov, creating high website demand, which was 5 times more than expected. As a result, the website went down already in the first 2 hours of the launch. And only 6 users were able to submit the applications on the first day of the launch. In the beginning, the website capacity was communicated as the main issue. However, later, many more problems arose, such as incomplete website design, error messages, the website not found, features and functions not working, incomplete and wrong data, login issues, and many more. Very sad story. Let's look why this happened. Number 1. Unclear purpose, requirements and scope. The project started before its key requirements and scope was clear. The Obamacare legislation consisted of 900 pages with additional 10,000 pages of rules. And saying the purpose of project to implement the legislation was too vague and imprecise to deliver measurable, tangible benefits. The project was too complex to manage, and also the priorities between all stakeholders never identified and agreed upon. Number 2, hard deadline with unrealistic expectations. When the project is huge and complex with unclear priorities, setting up a hard deadline on top of that is setting your project for a disaster. The key drive of the project to deliver it with hard deadline was clear from the beginning. However, the hard deadline created unrealistic expectations, inadequate testing, low quality with bugs and wrong data. The initial cost of the project was over $93 million and ended up costing $1.7 billion. Number 3, communication issues and watermelon reporting. It happens quite often, the situations when the project managers communicate to their stakeholders and the steering group that everything is on track according to the agreed timeline, scope and the budget, when in fact the project might be at risk with huge issues. In project management, this is called as watermelon reporting. Obviously, Obamacare project had huge communication, transparency and watermelon reporting issues. So staying transparent throughout the whole project is very crucial if you don't want to create last-minute surprises for your customers. Number 4, neglected risk management. Well, let's be honest, we're all human. And even when we do our very best when planning our project, talking to our expert, involving external consultants, talking to other project managers, getting their best practice and lessons learned from previous similar projects, at the end of the day, we cannot predict and plan everything. Life happens and there always will be things which will not go according to your plan. Therefore, having risk management plan can be very helpful when leading especially so huge complex projects. Many things which can go wrong or off schedule can be anticipated, and being prepared can help you to mitigate those risks and create better end results. Number 5. Integration problems. As you remember, Obamacare aimed to create one-stop shop where Americans could go on a website, look into all the insurances available, check if they qualify for the government support, and then choose the insurances according to their needs and submit the application. You can then imagine that in order to create such one-stop shop online would require a lot of insurance providers, and also tax and payroll systems of the 50 United States to connect in one place, which means that it's a huge work to integrate and coordinate so many internal and external systems to connect with each other. And now, time for the checklist on how to avoid those 5 mistakes in IT projects in order for you to deliver successful project. Number 1, create project order. Don't ever start a project without clear goals, expectations, requirements, and scope. Also, understanding the key priorities of the project is very important. Now, many of you might say that in IT project you usually assign product owner who works with priorities, which is true, of course. However, in any project, it is always possible to identify the high-level key priorities and key requirements in order for you to start the project on the right foot. These clear goals, expectations, key priorities, requirements, scope is very important to be documented on a paper. Ask these questions. What is the goal and the objectives of the project? What is in scope and also very importantly out of scope? What are the key priorities of the project? Here, 20-80 rule can be very helpful. So identifying those 20%, what is the most important for you to deliver for your project can be very hard but very crucial if you want to have a successful project. You also need to list the key deliverables that are expected in the project. And also, what is the success criteria when delivering the project? Number 2, set realistic timelines and expectations. I know we all want to delight our customers, promise a lot of good things. However, when planning your project, you really need to be careful to be very realistic on setting the timeline, scope, and also the budget. Remember that your customer really needs to understand the project management triangle, that nobody ever can get all 3 at the same time. So they can choose any 2 of the 3 constraints. Either cheap, fast, but with limited requirements, or quick with lots of features, but at the same time it won't be cheap, or cheap with lots of requirements, but it will take very long time. Also, give enough time for proper testing to ensure high quality of your deliverables. You may ask this question: have you listed all work that needs to be done? In project management, it's called WBS, work breakdown structure. It's a tree of all work packages that needs to be delivered. Are the estimations on duration of each work is realistic? Have you added contingency, a safety margin on top of your estimations? Did you involve all experts available in your project when creating your plan? Number 3, communicate transparently. When you see the first signs of the project issues, be alert and make sure that you communicate those issues on time to your stakeholders. Communicating issues and the red flags on time will give you the support of your stakeholders. And together you might be able to tackle those problems on time and also find a really good direction. Avoiding problems and hiding them might help you short term. However, then be prepared for the big bang disaster in the end. Number 4, be ready for surprises. Again, life happens to all of us. And even though we have involved all experts available, consulted with externals, talked to all other project managers who had similar projects, talking to their best practices and learning from their lessons that they learned, in the end of the day, things will again go wrong. So for you, in order to be ready for the surprises which will anyway happen in your project, it's always very important to create a risk management plan. Ask these questions: what might go wrong? From 1 to 10, what is the impact on project deliverables if this problem will happen? What is the likelihood of this problem to happen from 1 to 10? Multiply the impact by likelihood and then you will get a score. So depending on the score, then you can decide if you want to avoid the risk or to mitigate it. Remember that this document is a living document, so throughout your project you always need to go back to this plan, check it and update it where needed. Number 5, plan system integrations. You need to ensure that all the applications involved in your project and the target system, they should work with each other really well when launching your project. Ask these questions. What data do you need for your target system? Where does the data come from? How will you connect those systems? What are the security constraints? And very importantly, how to coordinate and integrate all these internal and external systems together for the flawless experience. This is all for now. Hope you got a clear action list to help your project. See you next time.